The thing is, we must now, in modern times, create our own purpose. It's something that most of the time people just ignore. I've been reading this book lately called Way of the Superior Man. And within the book, it talks about duties versus purpose. Now, what a duty is something that you have to do, right? You have to go to work. You have to maybe clean up your room. You have to go grocery shopping. These are things that you have to do. And as men, what we do is we get it confused, right? We often put the things that we have to do as our purpose. So you may be in a field that you're not necessarily interested in, but perhaps it makes a lot of money, or it's convenient, or it's just what's on the table right now. That is a duty. That is not a purpose. Your purpose is what you can bring to the world that you are passionate about. Sorry, get on motherfuckers. Purpose is something you can bring to the world that you are passionate about. So you must ask yourself, what is your purpose? And we don't put enough emphasis on our purpose. We don't put enough emphasis on our purpose. We often ignore it, find it frivolous, and think, oh, maybe one day I'll go after my purpose. Maybe one day I will. I was very lucky. I was very fortunate that the YouTube channel, self-improvement, teaching other people fitness, and inspiring others to improve themselves so that I can learn from them and that I can improve myself. I found that was my purpose very on when I was 18, right? But that's because I spent a lot of time alone, a lot of time in solitude. I'm the youngest child, which is very similar to being the only child once everybody dips off. I found my purpose in solitude. You have to quiet your mind, because in solitude is where you connect with God, because God knows your purpose. You know your purpose. Deep down inside, you know your purpose. Maybe it's singing, dancing. Maybe it's something you're a little embarrassed about. Deep down inside, you know your purpose. God knows your purpose. So what does that mean? That means you have to connect with God in order to find your purpose. And that's another reason why most men, they're purposeless. They have no purpose because they're not connected with God. They don't connect with God, or they do it in a superficial way. They're superficial Christians. They're superficial spiritual people. They're superficial Muslims. What do I mean as in superficial? That means you're doing the practices, but you're not really connecting with God. You go to church on Sundays, but you pray in front of everybody instead of praying alone by yourself, by your bedside. That's what Jesus asked us to do. He said, don't pray in front of others like the Pharisees, pray alone. Because solitude is not truly solitude. Solitude is you alone with God. Why most men are purpose driven is that they don't seek God. They don't seek God within themselves. They seek it externally, which I believe that God can be external, but he's also internal as well. He also lives within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. So I say that to say this: you're never going to find your purpose. You're never going to find your passion, and you're going to be doing some bullshit for the rest of your life that you do not enjoy doing if you do not connect with God, if you do not connect with your highest version of yourself. Because truthfully, how I like to think of it is that the highest version of yourself is already doing your purpose, is already doing your passion. It lives about 5-10 steps ahead of you. It already is doing the things that you want to do. You just need to connect with it. You just need to align with that timeline. But what's the opposite of purpose? What's the opposite of passion? What happens if we don't go after our purpose, if we don't go after our passion? What's the reason truly why always like to, you have to give, if you're going to do an action, you have to give it a why, or else that action becomes frivolous. You don't do it as hard. You don't go for it the way you're supposed to go for it. If you don't give something a why am I working out? Why am I studying? Why am I reading? If you don't give something a why, then it doesn't matter. So why should you actually go after your purpose? The number one thing that people do on their deathbed is they regret. What they usually regret about is, damn, I should have pursued that. Damn, I should have pursued that. Damn, oh man, if only I went after that. It's not taking less action that they regret. It's taking more action that they regret. So you may be afraid to upload that video, upload that song, go to school for this, go to school for that. Maybe it's not in the job market, and you're afraid. Connect with yourself on how you'd feel on your deathbed. How would you feel on your deathbed if you didn't go for it? If you got a little scared, you got cold feet, and you just pushed off that passion. You just pushed off your purpose. But this happened. But this happened. Things are always going to happen. And no matter what, you're going to die. We're all going to die. I find that death is the greatest motivator in that it is inevitable. Since it's inevitable and we live in the present day, all we can do is take actions to make sure that when we are on our deathbed, when we are living in our final moments, we can think back and say, I really went after the things that I wanted to go after. How I said it wasn't less action that people were fixated on. I shouldn't have done that. It's more action. It's I should go after that purpose. I should have moved to that state, went after my passion. I shouldn't have. Because truly fear, and I'll close it off on this, fear and faith are on two sides of the same exact coin. Fear is believing something is going to happen, and faith is believing something is going to happen. It's just one is a negative energy and one is a positive energy. So if you fear your passion, if you fear people will judge you, and this will happen, and this will happen, and this will happen, that is just negative energy of faith. It's going to happen. But every single negative can be flipped to a positive. So that just means that if you have fear of going after your purpose, that means you can have faith within your purpose as well. Flip the negative, turn it into a positive, and truly do what you were meant on this earth to do. That's it for today, guys. Externalize greatness.